Okay, if you would state your names and your titles or your jobs or whatever you consider yourself to be.
Oh, you go first.
I'm Kirsten Shockey, and I guess I'm an author and a fermentation experimenter, educator. I don't know.
Heavy on the experimenter for sure.
Definitely educator.
Christopher Shockey, also a freelance writer and author of four books now with Kirsten. And also I also teach fermentation arts and a little bit about neuroscience.
How long have you both been considering yourself as the, I don't know, fermentista and the author? Has this been something you've done for your whole lives?
Oh no.
Oh no.
So so I'd say the first part of ours, I had a career with Hewlett-Packard, so I worked in technology, and we moved here in 1998 because I had teams around the world, so we could live where we wanted to really. We looked for played-out farms all across the country, trying to figure out what we could afford, and we fell in love with this place, and so we moved here in 1998.
We had 3 and I was pregnant at the time, but we wanted a place where the kids could grow up and be connected to not just the land, but know where their food came from.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of years of homesteading behind us.
In this place, the family had moved here in the 40s and raised 4 kids. There used to be an old house on the property, and the son built the parents this house that we're in now. And so they'd had it on the market for 12 years, I think, or 14 years. If you were from California, they would say no. If you said, oh, that would be a lovely spot up there for a house, they would say no.
It was a for sale by owner.
Yeah.
They can make these decisions.
If you looked at the trees and said, those look valuable, they would say no. And so we got here and it was one of those 105-degree days, and so the kids stripped off and played in the creek, and I walked the property, and so I think we reminded them of their family, and so that's why they let us buy it. But we've met people, I don't know, for the decades since that said, oh, that Gibson property, we tried to buy that.
So it's like the dog, either you like you or they don't.
So, and we did that, and then in 2006, I left HP and didn't know what I wanted to do. Worked at a music festival over the summer, and I kind of considered myself retired, except for we had no money. So Kirsten said, you're gonna have to work. So part of that,
Details.
part of that was, we launched a food company, organic food company, and built the certified kitchen onto the house, and made a go of that for a while.
So it seems like that came out of left field. Launched a food company. Did you have experience in that prior?
Well, all those years that we were here, so we moved here in '98, and up until that point, our dream was to work together, do something that, it was a little house on the prairie dream, really. Just a small family business where the kids would learn about business, and we'd get to work together and all of that. And so I was a cheesemaker. Christopher made cider for friends and family and us, but cheesemaking didn't quite seem to be there's just so many laws around raw milk, and the type of cheese that we wanted to make was not the type that would be wanted out, or the laws really were constraining. Plus, this property is wonderful, but we wouldn't be able to sustain the amount of animals here, in a sustainable, good for the ground and the creek and all that way. You'd need so many more inputs coming in to have that many animals. Plus, our milkers were growing up. And so cheese business, I was making the cheese, but at least I wasn't milking the animals.
We were so much slower than
We
they
were
are.
so much slower, and they were about to leave, so they were getting big. And anyway, so it was vegetables. We'd been fermenting vegetables as part of the garden thing, and it seemed to be, I said to Christopher, nobody's ever died from a fermented vegetables. It's really safe. Nobody can sue us and take our farm. And so we started the first year. We were just kind of, what do they call that? Processing for other people, vegetables from their farms. Overages, seconds, vegetables that otherwise would go into the compost pile or whatever could be still value added. And so we did that for a year, and after that we decided to have our own label. But yeah, it wasn't out of the blue. We kept trying to figure out how can we make a little bit of a living with, land that isn't made for farming and all of that. So that's kind of where that came up.
We're going to the Mother Earth News Fair in Albany. Tell me what you're going to do there and why.
What are we going to do there?
And why? We are going to teach people how to make their very own miso.
Okay, you have a book that goes with that?
I do.
Okay.
Latest.
Miso, tempeh, natto, and other tasty ferments. It's a lot of Asian ferments. This is a whole new space for people. A few years ago, lactic fermentation of vegetables was weird, but now
Not
that's
anymore.
normal. And
I
now
couldn't
we're-
even tell you what most of those words mean.
I know, right? So natto is something we don't get to talk about at this Mother Earth News Fair, but it's kind of my favorite ferment right now.
Yeah.
So what's a
It's a-
ferment?
What's a ferment? It's kind of the word that I think the last, 10 or so years, the community of folks that are working with microbes have decided to call these foods. So foods that have been transformed by microbes.
Fantastic. Now we also talked about kids kraut, and you told us about what was going to go on there. So that one I think we have covered.
Crazy kid crop making.
Okay, and then are you going to be teaching anything else at this one, or you're going to be book signing too, right?
We're going to be book signing. We've actually got 3 other talks. We're going to be doing a condiment class. We're going to be doing just fermenting the veggies from your garden because it's such a healthy way to put up your foods because you can ferment anything. And then a new class I just started doing with Mother Earth News is kind of coming up with these healthy foods and making them even more functional, but fermenting herbs for flavor that you enjoy, but also thinking about the good qualities of the herbs. So